Anything Cricket is brought to you by Rascals Barbados and Omega Pest Control Limited. Welcome to Anything Cricket, Let's Talk. We're broadcasting from the studios of the Caribbean Media Corporation, Bridgetown, Barbados. We've got a full package for you today. We're going to be joined by Wayne Holder and Martin Paris. Ayana Holder will drop by as well, but we've got a very special guest today, and that's the former cricket administrator, Philip Nicholls. We're also going to be solving a bit of a problem. There's something wrong with Martin Paris, and we're trying to find out what that is. So we're going to find out what's wrong with Martin. All that and more when we come back on Anything Cricket. Let's talk. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi, or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Grinder Highway. Call 538-9990. Welcome back. Been joined by Philip Nicholls, not only a former cricket administrator, but a very ardent fan of cricket and West Indies cricket. And like Wayne Holder, a disappointed fan after a less than impressive performance by the West Indies cricket team in the first test match against the Indians, and following a very successful series against England when the Winston Trophy was won just a few months ago. I don't know who is really the opener here, certainly not Wayne. So I'm going to take a chance that Philip has had some experience opening the batting. Philip, I know you're disappointed, but really and truly, how do you explain that performance by the West Indies?
Philip again, former colleague at school. I don't think you can really explain it or attempt to explain it. You know, all of us are disappointed. I think we had a very good start. I mean, for instance, if you get rid of Kohli and Pujara, which are the bedrock of the Indian team, between them, you know, they have something like, what, 40 centuries or so. If you get rid of them before the score is 50, and even then you dismiss India for 297 under 300, and then you lose by 300 runs, it's very disappointing. You know, some people say the bowlers did their job. I thought India from that position made too many runs. Again, you know, some people are going to blame the selection of the team. They made a call, they played Cummins. He clearly didn't look the part. And the Indians made 297, which was a workable total. And then, unfortunately, we didn't even get close. We reached 222 because of the low order batting of the skipper Holder, but in the long run, it really made no difference because we didn't look in the second innings that we would ever get them out. I think that you saw the difference between batsmen who are accustomed batting and accustomed scoring runs, you know, who performed and took their chance. And then we got blown away. Simple as that.
Before we even bring him in, I must take you up on follow up on something you said about you know, batsmen who are accustomed batting, obviously referring to the Indians, and it reminded me of a comment I saw recently, a Facebook discussion it probably was, where someone suggested that the Trinidadians were looking to push Puran as an option behind the stumps, and you know, it fits right into what you were talking about because we continue to use what I call force-right players. Puran has played 3 first-class games in his entire career. To my mind, that is Puran thinking of playing Test cricket at this time, or thinking of in the immediate future, anyone thinking of him being an option. It is like having a child in class 1 of a primary school who is doing well, and you decide you're going to let him do the 11+ exam 6 months down the road.
Well, you know, they'll dance, but the whole problem is the discussion is that people throughout the region don't see first-class cricket. The only cricket that they tend to see is T20 and to a lesser extent one-day cricket. I'm not sure that the average person tunes in and watches much Test cricket. So when they see these fellas do well in T20 and one-day international, they think it's obviously. But I think it is shown. If you look at the last World Cup and who were the outstanding players in the one-day team, they were all seasoned Test players. And I have said, you know, I keep telling people I never play with anybody. I just play intermediate cricket. But I think that for our one-day team, any one of our one-day players that want to play one-day cricket for the West Indies should be playing four-day cricket and learn to bat. When I say learn to bat, it's 50 overs. And you could look through the past of our regional cricket, going back 10 years further. Men bat the whole day. 50 overs is half a day. And if you can't bat 50 overs in a one-day game, when you come in a test match with 90 overs in a day, how are you going to bat? How are you going to play in innings lasting 6 hours when you could play three T20 games in that time? That's basically our players just don't hit enough balls. And I think when you hear about how many balls people like Steve Smith and them hit, Chandler Paul used to hit, you hit a lot of balls, and it becomes a repetitive memory. If the repetitive memory is that when the third one comes, it got to go to the ground, you will not last in Test cricket.
Wayne?
Well, yes, to pick up from where Philip left off, going back to the original question, once again, we saw coming to the fore that inconsistency of the West Indies batting. And as you also mentioned, Philip, this same West Indies team won the Wisden Trophy. They beat England, who were then vying for the #1 position in Test cricket rankings in the world. So there's a degree of inconsistency there with the batting of the West Indies team. And that has prevailed for quite a number of years now.
So you think the problem is the inconsistency in the batting?
Well, this particular Test match,
The difference between England and
No,
and
but
India.
when you look at the England series, there was no stand-up batsman, if my memory serves me correctly. I mean, England were poor too.
well, yes, England did it.
And it was really a bowler series.
Aha.
It was really a bowler series.
It was a
So-
bowler series.
So again, the batsmen, you're not hearing anybody.
There were moments
odd
of
performances.
brilliance. You had Holder's
Jason
double
Holder.
century.
But
there was no one batsman
Holder
who was consistent.
And
Dowrich,
Dowrich
yes.
made things.
We
But
saw
you would find that when you look back through the history of Test cricket, in a 3-test series, a man making 600-700 runs. That when you get in there,
And that gentleman is where I think the West Indies fell down in
Yes,
this Test match.
Well, the record is there to show. I mean, even if you go to the world rankings, the West Indies do not presently have a top-class, high-ranking batsman on the world stage. We have not produced that batsman who can
I think the highest rank is
command.
Holder. If I'm not.
Is respect. The highest ranked Test
No.
player in the West Indies right now is the captain, Jason Holder.
You're talking about batting or
Batting
batting,
at
yeah.
number 34.
That's not surprising because
At
he's
number
the
34.
most successful for sure over the last 3 years. He's been averaging around 39 over the last 3 years. And that would tell you that he must have been the most consistent batsman in that time because no one else in the side averages 39 at all, overall.
Or even
But an average of
within a
39 couldn't keep
respective
you in the team
time frame.
years ago.
But he's batting at
You-
number 7.
But
Average
yeah,
of 39
I'm not talking
is
about
fine for Holder.
For Holder.
Batting at number 7 and
therefore,
8.
what is it? You know, one of the problems we had is getting a good start. I mean, Craig Brathwaite I don't know what has happened to him, but he's forgotten how to bat.
So what we can conclude, though, is that our batting stocks are at an all-time low for one, and very, very, very poor as world standards go. So it is going to be very difficult to compete with the top-ranked sides in the world. I mean, you have India, who would, first of all, possess some of the key #1 players, top players in the world batting-wise, and then another very powerful bowling attack with the bowlers of the abilities of, well, first of
Bumrah
all,
and
the
Sharma.
experience of Ishant Sharma, very, very experienced player.
Bumrah,
has
Mohamed
been,
Shami.
before the advent of Geoffrey Archer,
Yeah.
was the biggest thing to happen on
Burma's got
Thursday.
consistency on his side.
But Wayne, the point that you're making too, look, Roy Sharma made 5 one-day hundreds, but he can't start an
Doesn't
India
start
team.
in the India side, right?
It's a question of standards. And gentlemen, in a minute, I'm going to share with you my thoughts as to why we let ourselves down in the first test. But I'm going to do that after a break. Don't let annoying pests bug you. Lick them for 6. Omega Pest Control is the perfect solution. We are experts in termite and pest eradication, specialized mosquito treatments, foundation, residential, commercial, and industrial treatments. Call us day or night or visit us at our office located at Fieldside Drive, Long Gap, St. Michael. Omega Pest Control. Call 425-5954, 231-6526, or email us at opcl@caribsurf.com. Welcome back. Before we went to break, you hit on a point regarding Rohit Sharma, and I made a comment, standards. Rohit Sharma's batting average in Test cricket prior to, well, his batting average in Test cricket was somewhere around 39, which is superior to all of our batsmen. But they don't consider Rohit Sharma
Certainty.
a certainty or good enough even to play Test cricket, despite his amazing one-day record. And, you know, I think that's one of the things that on the years our standards, we accept mediocrity. And I know Philip may want to take me to task for this, but many people see Hope, for example, as the shining light in the West Indies team. In fact, I've had people who said to me, Hope is our best batsman. If you're satisfied that your best batsman is averaging 27, I don't think I need to make any further point on standards. The other thing that I believe...
But before you go on, when you say take you to task, why would I take you to task? I mean, I think Hope's decline from the height of where he was when he scored the twin hundreds against Edge is worrying. It's something that should be of concern. And again, it may be that since then, if you look around, is he playing much first-class cricket?
I also want to make the point, though, Philip, that the majority of the players in the Test team don't necessarily make up the one-day team, our one-day international team. There are a number of players who played in that Test match, the last Test match, who do not feature in West Indies one-day team.
This is true.
Right, and again, so I mean to judge the standard of the Test team against the one-day.
No, I wasn't judging against that. What I'm saying is that a player like Rohit Sharma, who is averaging 39 in Test cricket, and the Indians don't think he is good enough to play Test cricket. But we are quite comfortable, apparently, to have players averaging in the 20s and 30s and describing them as the next great player, as I've heard of Hetmeyer, describing them as the best batsman. They say you can't have a best, realistically, worth mentioning if your highest average is 37.
But it's relative. The one-eyed man is king in the land of the blind.
And this should concern us, that's all I'm saying.
No, it may
it's
very
a
well
very big
concern.
concern.
I wouldn't say that they don't consider Rohit Sharma the same. What they're saying with Rohit Sharma is that we have better players
We have better players than him.
to play
Rohit
in the...
Sharma can probably make, if there are 10 top Test playing countries in the world, Rohit Sharma can probably make 7 of them as a middle order. Opening batsman, one, and he's also versatile enough to be able to adapt to batting at any number. And he can make, I'm sure, 5, 6, 7 of the teams in the world, but he just can't make the Indian team.
But that's how we were at the height of our powers, when we had players who were on the sidelines of our team who would walk into other teams.
The other thing I wanted to bring in quickly, though, we're talking about the batting as we should, and the batting is a disappointment. That's a reality. But I still go back to that series against England. I think that what really made the difference, the thing that stood out consistently, was the bowling of our pacers especially. Yes, Roston Chase did more than his part in the Barbados Test. We can't deny that. But I think you also would recognize that the fast bowlers had the English batsmen very uncomfortable. And I think we missed the trick by weakening or bolden attack. Now, if you had
You mean
in the test match that we lost, the first test against India,
Well, how do we weaken
we
it?
weakened it because I had no difficulty with Kemo Paul. I've seen Kemo Paul, and I think Kemo Paul
He was injured.
is a good wicket-taking bowler. So I had no problem with him being in the mix-up. Whether he had played ahead of Cornwall or not is a totally different story because there are other factors that would come into that. But certainly I think he would have been good enough to be a wicket-taking option. I honestly don't think that Cummins is a wicket-taking option. And from the time Paul pulled out through injury, to my mind, the obvious thing was to have Cornwall. And if you felt that you needed a pace bowler, surely, why do you play A-team cricket if the performances are ignored? Shamar Holden was by far more impressive in the A-team matches
Series
to
versus
Cummins.
India.
And if you look at the overall record of Cummins, I think we missed the trick, and I think that we paid for that, having put India on the ropes, and then we couldn't add the knockout punch.
I don't think anybody with you, certainly not the Antiguans, wouldn't quarrel with you with that. Cummins was selected. I think he was lucky with the selection, and he may find it very hard to get another one because the performance was not up to standard.
Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Griner Highway. Call 53-9990. Don't let annoying pests bug you. Lick them for 6. Omega Pest Control is the perfect solution. We are experts in termite and pest eradication, specialized mosquito treatments, foundation, residential, commercial, and industrial treatments. Call us day or night or visit us at our office located at Fieldside Drive, Long Gap, St. Michael. Omega Pest Control. Call 425-5954, 231-6526, or email us at opcl@caribsurf.com.
Welcome back. Well, folks, we have put the first test match behind us, and I'm sure that many fans, especially those who were first-hand witnesses to that fiasco, would want to forget about it as well. The question is, where do we go from here? We're joined by Ayana Holder, and while there's nothing wrong with her today, I'm sure she has her views on the way forward.
Automatically, with Kemo Paul's fitness, he's an easy slip-in replacing Miguel Cummins. And I have an issue with West Indies being unable to take 20 wickets and still not be able to make the runs that the opposition has scored with Jason Holder batting at number 8. So, I would have to drop Darren Bravo. Other than his dedicated 50 against England earlier this year, he really has not done anything. He's the most experienced batsman. We took him to the World Cup. We didn't even play him in all the games. And I just don't think that Darren Bravo is going to have the career that he had before his saga. So,
Okay, so you're going to drop him?
so I would drop him for
Philip,
Cornwall.
Philip, was I speaking prematurely when I said nothing was wrong with Diana?
No, nothing wrong. She's analyzing it, you know, but people would argue that anyone from the 1 to 6 could get dropped.
That's also
that
true.
you could pull straws, and whoever pulled the short one would sit down on the morning game.
Well, a good colleague of mine, a good friend and colleague of mine suggests that Hetmar should be the one to go. I warned him not to say that too loudly in the wrong place because he may have to, there may be concerns about his safety.
No, but I mean, all have been disappointed. So unless somebody is told to be sick in the morning, as has happened in the past, you just don't know. But this match in India, I think he's lucky to be around.
Yeah, but maybe he wasn't prepared.
If I-
He found
if I
himself on the
can-
field and he wasn't ready
If
expected.
I
Well,
can jump
okay.
in here,
Eh,
though,
but-
guys. Jamar Hamilton just played the A-team series against India A. And I'm not too sure that he scored 50 runs.
Well, you're not
in
even
all
looking at the
3
batting.
matches. So, I mean, alone, the bat
okay.
alone, he cannot make a team before any other batsman.
Okay.
But no,
And I
no, he
also
wouldn't be
think-
making it as a batsman. He'd be making it as a wicketkeeper.
Wicket. I know, but I also think that we should give Shea Hope a chance with the gloves. Nothing against Dulwich, but look at his one-day performances where he's wicket keeping. I'm just throwing it out
And
there.
yeah, no, I don't think the question is whether you're giving him a chance. It's a question of, is he interested in wicketkeeping?
At the
In-
test
But
level.
the
Ah,
batting
just-
average as a specialist battle 27.
Well,
I would
maybe
be
an
interested in
improve.
whatever the selectors are going to play me to do.
Well,
Well,
there it is.
we will soon know how that works out, ladies and gentlemen. So we can only hope from the West Indian perspective that is a much more competitive event than the first test. Not only from the point of view of West Indies fans, but from the point of view of cricket. I think we want to see a proper spectacle. And I'm not so sure that we saw that for a significant portion of the first test match. Thanks very much to both of you. Interesting thoughts indeed. But we can only wait and see how it works out on the field.
What's Wrong with Martin is brought to you by Mankind of Beauty.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
If I was a turkey, this would probably be stuck in my craw since 1995. Umpiring has introduced an elite panel in 1995. Why an elite panel? Why not call it what it is? A test panel. In those days, there wasn't any 2020 cricket, so it was just limited overs cricket and test cricket. Now we have an international panel that deals with the white ball cricket, and we have a test panel called the Elite that deals with test cricket. Recent poor performances by some allegedly overworked colleagues. I can say colleagues. I had aspirations of following my father's footsteps and being an umpire. But sauce for the goose is not always sauce for the gander or the goose's egg son. A lot of goose eggs have been happening in world cricket. And can you believe that there's a gentleman or lady colleague who sits in an air-conditioned comfort just watching replays, or supposedly, and still they can't get it right? We've got colleagues who, if you are lucky on a Saturday, the person standing in the middle with you picked up 5 pennies, rocks, or supposedly 6 items to officiate an over standing at the opposite end with you. And then when you get short overs, you realize that your colleague who's not fully certified or trained made an error. At the top level, if you keep doing your trade on every given cricket Saturday or Sunday, you would iron out quite a few of these mistakes. Heaven forbid, and call yourself elite, and you're not even doing the basic things that you're supposed to do. I've seen people like Richard Kettleborough come down to the region as a county cricket exchange program umpire. And now he's on some elite panel. This idea of the umpires at the county level are better than. The 42 laws of the game don't change. They're moderated by the regulations and the playing conditions. So whether it's at Lord's in England or Lord's in St. Lucie, cricket is still cricket. I'm very annoyed when you have a scenario where some people are treated like if they're superior. The same appeals. How's that? Covers every way of being out in cricket. I would love to see more of our colleagues, and for heaven's sake, throw away this nonsense about a neutral umpire. That, if my legal clarification and guidance is correct, would suggest that there's an impartial or a biased umpire. I myself was unscrupulously dragged through half of October, all of November, half of December, trying to prove that I wasn't biased. Well, that's water under the bridge. The real thing is, when you have an umpire who comes from outside of the region and he doesn't know, or she, where the rain comes from, what are the local conditions, and heaven forbid if the groundsmen don't insist on bringing those covers onto the field of play, you're going to end up with a situation where a pitch is damaged because two umpires from outside of the region come to officiate a match and they don't know anything about the weather conditions, especially which direction the rain comes from. Ball that you have to make a decision on, or the last ball of a game. Your decision is final and it should be able to stand up to any scrutiny. And finally, if you're going to be using the deferral system, the decision referral system, if the real reason for having it is to find the correct result of an appeal, then you can't be limiting it or using two appeals. Use it for the best of its ability to ensure that the correct decision, regardless of how many of them have to be checked. Hopefully, they'll embrace it. Some of you will say, well, then it will remove the possibility in the future of two colleagues in the middle. There's already 4 of them operating in the game. The 2 in the middle, the standby or glorified refreshments provider, and he or she who sits in the air-conditioned comfort and misses the occasional front and several back-foot no balls, because back-foot transgressions are still no balls. And that's what's wrong with Martin.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
Welcome back. We're going to get a roundup of the action at the highest levels of the Barbados Cricket Association's domestic club competition. Ayana, what's been happening?
I can tell you that Wildy has been having a brilliant season so far.
And we're talking elite.
Elite, yes, this is elite. After UWA surprisingly forfeited the first game.
Well, yeah, when the season starts with Christmas, I suppose it can only, it augurs
get
well.
better from there. So Wildy and Empire are actually at the top of the points table with 47 points. And Wildy will be playing Barbados Youth in the next series. And looking at that matchup, you would expect Wildy to go on with another win. Empire is playing BDF, who is closer to the bottom of the table, but they're
inconsistent.
They're inconsistent. If BDF continues on their inconsistent season so far, Empire find themselves in a good position to grab another win. Unfortunately for a club like St. Catherine, they're struggling at the bottom of the table alongside Gladiola. And St. Catherine is playing UWA in their next game. So St. Catherine will really reign to affect the series like it has been affecting some of them.
You said they're
so
playing
far.
who? St. Catherine?
St. Catherine are playing UWA. So I'm sure St. Catherine will lay some rain
Lots
as it
of
has
it.
been affecting some of the series so far.
So I suppose, well, never mind. You go ahead.
And another key point is that the spinners have been the highlight of the series so far. Joshua Bishop took 11 in a game for UWA. Matthew Jones also took 11 in a game, taking 8 in one innings. Kamari Boyce, he had 5 and 5, taking 10. And Nicholas Curtin has been having a good all-round season as well, taking some wickets with his off-spin.
What's your gut feeling, though, in terms of who is going to go Tom?
Honestly, I believe that St. Catherine will get themselves together and just stay up. So I would go with Gladiola, as they can be quite inconsistent, especially with full Asherners who will be taking part in the Caribbean Premier League coming up soon.
And whoever goes down, who's likely to replace them?
Yorkshire is doing pretty well in the first division, but they always tend to fall away towards the end of the season, and OMPC are currently in second, 7 points behind them. So it would be a good race to see who's the team to come up, if Yorkshire can hold on or if OMPC can overtake them.
And this last one is for Wayne. Who's going to win this competition at the elite level?
I think it's still early days yet,
Well, it
to
is.
be honest
Be
with you.
brave.
But no, I don't call cricket. You know, I was challenged to call that test match when England started their second innings. And I refused to do it because I said, this is cricket. And as it turned out, I'm happy that I did. So as I said, I don't really call
You're afraid to be
cricket.
wrong?
Not that I'm afraid to be wrong.
That's the fun
No,
of
it's
it.
not. It's nothing but being afraid to be wrong. It's that I have been following this game and been part of this game for so long that I just know that cricket is like life unpredictable. But nonetheless, let's put it this way: the winner is going to come from among Empire, Wildy, and UWI.
How insightful, Wayne.
He gave you the top three.
I don't think you can go wrong.
He gave
I
you
don't
the
think you can
top
go
three.
wrong there. So that's pretty much our look at the domestic cricket situation, particularly the elite division and the first division.
Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Griner Highway. Call 538-9990.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to DA Computer Services, also the Caribbean Media Corporation. Join us again soon for another episode of Anything Cricket. Let's talk.